Over the last 2 years, we have witnessed record-breaking droughts in several parts of the world, which have pushed millions of people into starvation. This information from a new report by the U.S. National Drought Mitigation Center. It shows us the impacts of climate change and how they've caused major shortages in food, water, and energy in dozens of countries. So for a closer look at the impacts of the droughts, I'm joined this morning by Mark Savoda. He is the director of the National Drought Mitigation Center, and he co-authored this report. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You've identified for us regions which you describe as hotspots. Sorry, we're going to show those to everybody now. You categorize them into Africa, Southeast Asia, Latin America, and the Mediterranean. First of all, what does it look like on the ground in these regions after 2 years of drought?
Yeah, so really this is a cross-section of vulnerability and the effects of drought. And really we could have picked many more places, including here in North America, the United States, the fires, the dryness and drought in Canada. It's not immune to really anywhere. So that's the challenge with drought. It can cover millions of square miles and affect millions of people.
We know how droughts exacerbate issues like hunger, for example. You can't grow anything if the ground is dry. But how does it also spread disease?
Well, it really covers the whole spectrum of say, food security, water security, therefore national security. So when water gets tight, it causes a lot of health issues because they're having to haul that water from unsafe sources, and it just becomes, it's a compounding effect on health when you don't have clean water.
Yeah, I understand it's also the sharing of water, so the centralized sourcing of water, and then you have more people sharing it and the spread of disease. Also, the other issue we sometimes don't think about is being able to operating to wash hands, to wash our faces. And when you're not able to wash your hands, you're spreading more disease. And again, these are all impacts of the hotspots that you've shown us. How are countries in these regions managing these impacts?
Well, it's very difficult, I mean, especially when you're fighting for your survival. You're growing food that's only really for your family. They're digging holes in riverbeds just to try to get to water, again, unclean water in many cases, or they have to haul it a very long ways. That's just enough for the family. It's not enough for their crops. So, this is where we've had issues where with USAID not being out there to help, and other groups is putting a bigger load on other governmental sort of folks to come in and help these folks out during these times of drought.
We're talking about help. What kind of action is needed, and what happens if action doesn't happen soon?
Well, that becomes an issue. This is where we need more effective policy, not just at the state, local level, but at the international level. So this is what we're trying to do is build this International Drought Resilience Alliance through the United Nations. These sort of activities we hope will bring relief and aid to those folks in need. And
is it just money? Is it more people on the ground? What would that look like?
Oh, it'd be a combination of all that, all the way down to the policy level, having drought plans and who's accountable to do what and when do they do it. That starts at the very local level, but as I mentioned, this goes on up into the NGOs that help with folks that come in and try to help.
When we look at economies over the last couple of years, we've seen prices on key products like olive oil and sugar increase, and we know these products come from the regions that you've highlighted. Can you tell us more about how droughts have affected the economies in these countries?
Yeah, it becomes much like we saw with COVID. It's a huge supply chain issue. I mean, it's a connected global economy, the way that goods and commodities are traded and imported and exported. So, it's not just what's going on in your backyard. It's what's going on maybe thousands of miles away in Africa or South America or Asia.
You co-authored this report. What's the main takeaway that you want from people who are listening to our conversation today?
Well, we have to do a better job of, first of all, just even collecting drought impacts. It's a big gap in what we do. Just like we collect precipitation or temperature, we need to collect information on how people are impacted. And then, again, getting into the policy realm, drought plans are essential, and too many countries do not have them.
Mark Savoda, I want to thank you for joining us here in your morning. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.